ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So Hare Krishna. So Tau Santoshayata Santau Srila Rupa Sanatanau Dakshinatyena Bhattena Panare Tadvivichyate Tasyadyam Granthanalekam Krantav Yutkranta Khanditam Paryalocyatha Paryayam Krutva Likati Jivakaha. Hare Krishna, I welcome all of you for today's Bhakti Sandarbha discussions. So, I hope all of you revised. Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Bro,
You.
speaking, bro. I will speak prohibition.
Okay. What you learned, you to speak it.
Sorry, bro.
What you learned, what you
Yeah,
understood.
yes, bro. Yes, bro. Yes. Yeah.
Go on. Carry on.
So yesterday we talked about that Shraddha is a pre-qualification for Bhakti. And
Okay.
and yes, bro. And but for Jnana and Karma, complete detachment is necessary. And for karma, complete attachment is necessary, as it is confirmed in 11th canto, 20th chapter, 7th verse, bro.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, in 7th verse, it is written that among these three paths, Jnana Yoga, the path of philosophical speculation, is recommended for those who are disgusted with material life and are thus detached from ordinary fruitive activities, bro. And karma also, those who are not disgusted with material life, having many desires yet to fulfill, should seek perfection through the path of karma yoga. Yes, bro. So, but for bhakti, bro, there is no need of attachment or detachment, but only shraddha is necessary. So now, bro, what type of shraddha? So there are two types of shraddha, bro: swabhaviki shraddha and loka parampara jata shraddha. So in loka parampara jata shraddha, Prabhu, the shraddha comes from the family lineage and like from the tradition. So his forefathers used to do something. So then then he will also do whatever the previous like traditions are going on. So he will follow the same thing, and so he is forced to believe in that tradition. He doesn't have any natural shraddha. So natural shraddha means he doesn't have any doubts or his doubts are not cleared, but he's forced to believe whatever his forefathers have done, to follow that. So this is pro Loka Parampara Jata Shraddha, and Swabhaviki Shraddha is pro that he hears from someone and then gets the doubts cleared, and after doing that he believes. So that type of Shraddha, that is natural Shraddha, Swabhaviki Shraddha. And then we can see, bro, that in the case of karma and jnana, what kind of Shraddha is there? So in the case of karma and jnana, bro, they are not understanding the conclusion of Shastras, but they are seeing the truth partially. For example, like Brahman, so they are seeing that they are understanding the truth partially, and then after having that type of like what type of understanding, they are having Shraddha to perform jnana process. And similarly, in the case of karma, pro, so they do putra kamishti yagya, and then they see the result is there. So then they have some type of Shraddha. So and they follow the scriptural like regulations of Shastras. So but this karma and jnana, the Shraddha is result when by partial understanding only. But for bhakti, Swabhaviki Shraddha, or we can say any Shraddha is fine, like Loka Parampara Jata Shraddha or even Swabhaviki Shraddha, because by if a person he like worships Krishna and he has not properly understood the Shastras, so then also there is no fault in that. Even if he may have no good conduct, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, api chet suduracharo, and like that, bro. So and if a person has Swabhaviki Shraddha, so he understands scriptures, so then in that case he will not have any wrong conduct. So in that way, bro, in bhakti, only Shraddha is needed. And what is the shape of Shraddha? The shape of Shraddha is Shastrartha Vishwasaha. So believing that bhakti is the only process which can give him ultimate benefit. So if he has that type of Shraddha, that is sufficient proof, and that time, and then he will get the result of bhakti. So that's why Shraddha is, if Shraddha is not there in bhakti, bro, then he cannot do Ananya Bhakti. If he doesn't have like complete Shraddha, then he will be doing sometimes karma and jnana. Yes, bro. And when one has this type of Shraddha in bhakti, that it will give the highest benefit, then he will leave karma. So that type of Shraddha, if he has, then he will leave karma, bro. And then he doesn't need to practice any karma. So now one may question, bro, that to practice Ananya Bhakti, one may have to maintain the body. So maintaining body is necessary. Now how he will maintain? So so he will do some activities for his bodily maintenance. So only for practicing bhakti, he does bodily maintenance, because Prabhu, if he has complete Shraddha, but if he doesn't like maintain his body, then he cannot do bhakti. So that's why maintaining body is necessary to do bhakti, bro. So so how he does? So just he makes his life very simplified, and he doesn't like accumulate so many things, but he makes his life very simply like simple. So and he doesn't go against the Shastras. He because if he goes against the Shastras, then what type of Shraddha is he having? So that's why, bro, this is not proper Shraddha. And so that's why, so one who develops proper Shraddha, bro, so he will do some activities to maintain his body, and he will not do any durachara. So he will live simple lifestyle. And there they do not follow any, so he doesn't follow any dharma customs of dharma shastras. So that he thinks that, okay, I am Brahma, I am doing some occupational duty, so this is my identification. This type of conception is not there. So he does only to maintain his body, like he just maintain his body to practice Ananya Bhakti. And then like that, when he progresses, so he makes his life simple, and then he increases his more like time in engaging in Shravanam and Kirtanam. Yes, bro. So Then you explained about how Shraddha develops. So he develops Shushusho Shraddha Dhahanasya. So when he associates with devotees, he understands that bhakti is the only process. And Shastras, the Vishwasa is there. So then he has sufficient Shraddha. So then he will perform bhakti. And he will have no such type of conception pro that, okay, if I don't follow any occupational duty, then I will commit any sinful activities. So he does not have any fear of that, but he has complete Shraddha. And then he gets the the benefit of performing Ananya Bhakti. This is the core philosophy. Yeah.
Wow.
So I tried my
Good.
best to.
Yes. Good. Nice. Today you showed your spirit. Spirit of presenting back. Thank you very much. Nice. Yes, that kind of spirit is needed. Okay, bro, what is your doubt?
Prabhuji, one slok I sent, there it is written, na, Saddhana Rupam Phalhetukatvat, means according to Saddha, someone will get the result. So here bhakti is depending on Saddha, na? It seems from this verse. But here Jiva Goswami is telling bhakti is independent from Shraddha also.
Can you repeat?
One slok I sent to you, Prabhuji, 8:17-17. Their last is their Saddhana Rupam Phal Hetukatvat. So according to Shraddha, someone will get the fruits, means result of his bhakti. So here from this slok, it seems like bhakti is depending on Shraddha.
Bhakti is depending on Shraddha. Good.
Here Jiva Goswami also telling Sakrida Parigitam Shraddhaya Helanayava. Means from here it's coming like bhakti is beyond Shraddha.
Okay, we'll discuss today now that. So now today we should understand that this Shraddha is the pre-qualification to start bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. Yes, fine. And Shraddha, is it having any role? So in production of result by bhakti. So bhakti to produce its result, so will it depend on Shraddha or not? This is the point. So here, Srila Jiva Goswami is quoting that from the Skanda Purana, Prabhasakanda. You can all see the text also, if you like. I'm going to share in the screen. Sakrudapi Parigitam Shraddhaya Helayava Bruguvara Naramatram Tarayet Krishnanama. What is the meaning? Sakrudapi Parigitam. Even one time is chanted. What is that? Krishnanama. Krishna's name. If one time chanted, maybe it is chanted by the Shraddha with faith, otherwise Hela. Hela means contempt. So, with any way, if it is chanted, Bruguvara, Ho Bruguvara, Naramatram Tarayat, it can deliver the human beings. That means even if you chant holy name one time, it is going to deliver you. Of course, if you chant it, so with Shraddha or not, That means even if you chant with the sarcastically, so still, so that holy name is reserved. So next, one more sloka we are seeing. Satam prasangat mama virya samvido bhavanti hurtkarna rasayanaha kathaha tajjoshana ashvapavargavartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. What is the meaning of this sloka? So from this sloka, what we are understanding, you see, Satam prasangat mama virya samvido. That means my heroic pastimes. Who is saying? Kapil Bhagwan is saying. Mama virya samvidaha means my heroic pastimes. So which are so discussed in the association of the devotees are, so those pastimes are ointment for ears and heart. My pastimes are ointment for ears and heart. Tad joshana, that means by faithfully, by so hearing those pastimes, ashu, that means very quickly, apavarga vartmani, on the path of, so on the path of liberation. Liberation, apavarga vartmani means here apavarga you can take as bhakti also. In the path of the bhakti. So apavarga means, so which is not pavarga. That means it's a bhakti. So in the path of the bhakti, by what will happen? Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. All these. So sequentially they produced. Shraddha is produced, rati is produced, and after that bhakti. Bhakti means prema you should take here. So prema is also is produced one after another. Anukramishati means one after another. So Shraddha, after that rati, after that bhakti. So from here, we are understanding, so from this sloka, bhakti is done before this Shraddha also. By, that means, what you are hearing here, what you are hearing from this sloka, just by serving or hearing the past tense of the Lord, that is producing Shraddha, means bhakti can be done even before to Shraddha, and which can give the result also, its result. So from this ityadaucha, that means in Skanda Purana sloka and also in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto Kapil Bhagwan's teachings, from that in those two slokas, tat purvataha api, that means before to Shraddha, also before to Shraddha, tasyaha phaladatra shravanat, that means bhakti is giving its result. So that thing we heard in these two slokas. That means what? So bhakti never depends upon Shraddha to give its own result. Okay? You understood these two slokas? Rukmini Mohanto.
Hi Krishna. Dhanvat Prabhuji.
Remember.
Prabhuji, this second verse, the Satam Prasanga verse, in this verse we are seeing Sadhu Sangha and Shravana, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, like as per the Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, the stages, so he has Shraddha, then only he will associate with the sadhus. So how to understand it is like Shraddha is produced, that could be like as we increase bhajan kriya, then Nishtha is produced. So like how to relate that to those stages also.
So for example,
If we relate that verse to those stages, then it also kind of fulfills.
I understood your question. So this Satam Prasangat, this sloka, shall we take? That means before Shraddha, Ado means associating the devotees and developing the Shraddha. You are asking this only, na? This sloka is referring to the stage of the Shraddha. That is nothing but the associating devotees and developing the Shraddha. Like that, you are asking?
Puji, I'm asking the other way around. Like if we see it that they are hearing and the association of devotees, hearing is going on. So it's prior to that or after that? That's what I'm asking.
It is before to the Shraddha.
So prior to Shraddha.
Yes.
The Ado part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Ado part, if someone is not having any offenses, then he will not go for the Bhajanakriya, Anardhanivrutti, Ruchi, Asakti, Sonista, Ruchi, Asakti, nothing. You're understanding? Why these stages are there? These stages are there just for the sake of removing the anarthas. If anarthas are not there, flip. Now 0, next 1.
Yes, sir.
Even if you don't have Shraddha, if someone is not having the offenses, he took up the bhakti process, he chanted the holy names, finish, you will get the Bhagavad Prapti. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that means what? Bhakti is not depending on the Shraddha to give its result. That is Bhagavad Prapti.
Yes, sir.
So you can see another example. Mriyamano Harer Nama Grunan Putropacharitam Ajamilopyagadama Kimuta Shraddhaya Grunan. What Mata? Charlata Mata.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you just said that, without, even if you do not have Shraddha, Bhakti can still give a result. And,
yes.
And here we are seeing the example of Ajamil also. But to perform Bhakti, we need to have Shraddha.
Who said?
No, unless we have at least some, inclination towards Bhakti and some inclination towards hearing the glories of the Lord or associating with devotees. We cannot, randomly just cannot start to do Bhakti. So inclination or Shraddha, there is, I'm thinking that, is it the same? Or do you think there is some difference? No, it has to be proper, this Shraddha only. There's some confusion still about it, sorry.
See, generally we say Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. There we see in the case of the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, so Shraddha, and after that Bhajana Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and then with them so on. So this Shraddha is the entry door, or otherwise this Shraddha so is needed one to do the sadhana bhakti. Yes, that means to do the ananya bhakti, one has to have Shraddha. Okay, that is in whose case? Who has anarthas. For example, if one doesn't have any anarthas, any offenses, that means any other anarthas means sukruta, dushkruta, or aparadota, and bhakti anarthas he doesn't have. If he does one time chanting, he will go back to the Godhead. Bhagavad Prapti can have. Even one time chanting is also not a point. Even abhasa, the semblance of the bhakti is also sufficient for him to take him back to the Godhead. Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So what you are understanding from this? That means if someone doesn't have any offenses, especially offenses, he might be having another anarthas, but if the aparadot anartha is not there, then in that case, if he does bhakti, so that bhakti, how it may be, that means it may happen actually somehow or other. Shraddhaya helaya somehow. So that means Sanketyam Parihasyam, that means maybe he is calling Rama, that means just to call his friend Rama. Parihasyam, that means maybe he is calling a Rama, Rama, like that, just for jokingly. Somehow he take holy name. Still, so if he doesn't have any, so aparada of the anarthas, offenses, that means, then what will happen? All other remaining anarthas will simply washed away by this one-time chanting, and he is immediately so eligible for the going back to the point. Understanding. So that means of what is the philosophy? Philosophically, you should say that bhakti never depends upon shraddha to produce its result. But why we are saying shraddha is the entry door for the bhakti? If one has sufficiently anarthas, then so if he wants to start the process of the bhakti, so he has to develop the shraddha. He cannot do the ananya bhakti. He cannot do exclusively devotion. Then he will be mixing the karma and jnana. So in that case, what will happen? So bhakti is not pure. So that's why. Then what will happen? That person is taking up the ananya bhakti and so is practicing bhajana and destroying anarthas, anartha nivritti, becoming stable nishtha, then after that ruchi, and after that asakti. Why? These are all stages are categorized based upon the level, the degree of the purification of anarthas. Nothing actually, nothing special. They're only based upon the purification of anarthas. Only those stages are given by the previous acharyas. If one doesn't have anarthas, then what will happen? He will never come to this ladder. Finish. So chanting and becoming eligible to get the Bhagavad Bhakti. Finish. That means what? Philosophically, bhakti never depends upon shraddha to produce its result. But in general, so those who are having offenses, so anarthas, in their case, so proper shraddha is needed to live the doesn't develops proper shraddha, so he cannot leave the karma and he should practice karma. Once he develops the shraddha, then he can automatically, shraddha means understanding or otherwise believing. Shraddha is only the process which can give the ultimate result. Such a shraddha when he gets, and he kick off all those and practice bhakti. And then he will so cross the different stages, anartha nivritti and so on. That is, so that's why shraddha is eligible criteria. So for one who wants to do the ananya bhakti. Yes. But philosophically, shraddha never depends upon, bhakti never depends upon shraddha to give its result. Is it clear, this point?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Thank you so much. Very good.
Yeah. Mriyamano harer nama drunan putropacharitam Ajamilopyagadhama kimuta shraddhaya gunan. Hare mriyamana hare nama. So this Ajamil is about to die and took the Hari Nama, Grunan, he took Hari Nam. That to Putropacharitam, just to call his son, he took the Lord's name, Narayana. Agadhama. So he became eligible. Vishnudutas came and they stopped the Yamadutas and they took him to the Vaikunta. They took him or not? They about to take, but anyway, you have still some more time because your all sins are destroyed by this holy name. Previously, he chanted whatever holy names while calling his son. And now you have more lifespan. And in that lifespan, you practice the proper shape of the bhakti so he will be learning how to serve the Lord in the spiritual world. You're understanding? So if one doesn't have any offenses, and if he chanted one holy name, he is eligible for going back to Godhead. But still, his love has to intensify, and he has to develop certain relationship with the Lord, and then he has to undergo to that training. Then Lord will arrange some service in the spiritual world. So for that sake only Ajamil was kept out. Not that he has some sin and he has to clear that. No. He is completely, absolutely eligible to go back, God. But what kind of service he has to do? So for that, and also he should develop the intensified love, dense love. So for that, he went to Haridwar and after that he did that. But philosophically, just by that holy names which are chanted as semblance, just Putropacharitam, just to call his sons, all those names, so made him, the initial name itself, made him to back to Godhead.
So Prabhu, this is called Namabhas, Prabhu. Namabhas. The stage is called Namabhas. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
We are not going with the discuss with the Bhaktivinoda different stages. This is which not done with the correlative knowledge, connecting knowledge. So that's why it is known as Abhasa Bhakti. Okay, Rambhadra Priya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have just two questions of the three verses you discussed.
Yes, Prabhu.
One is with respect to this verse, as you were mentioning, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur classifies these two types of Namabhas, Shraddha Namabhas and Ashraddha Namabhas.
Prabhu, actually, this classification you will be seeing specifically with the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and in the Bhakti Sandarbha and also in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, otherwise in other places. So that's classification is different, and I'm not having much knowledge of that. So simple understanding is, so without, that means Ajamil chanted the Hari's name, Narayana. So without having the connective, that means Sambandha. So that much only you should understand. That means he intentionally he didn't do. That is the simple, that much only. That much only you should understand here, Abhas. Yes.
Okay.
Even that kind of bhakti is also a semblance, a portion of the semblance, or the offensive semblance of the bhakti also can deliver. Okay. Example is the rat actually. A rat took that wig. That means she did offense because taking that lamp wig, so which is offered in front of the Lord, so is nothing but the offense. And also rat didn't have any intention of offering lamp to the Lord. So, but somehow it happened. So, which is always stuck in his teeth, and because of that, it was jumping. So, it was like offering a lamb to the Lord. So, it is the offensive. So, semblance of the bhakti, that it's that kind of bhakti also delivered.
Okay. So,
So, yeah.
yes, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
it's very clear, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Like what I had heard also, like two cases were mentioned. One is Ajamil, who took the name of the Lord, and when Vishnu
Yes.
Dutas and Yamdutas came and he heard those conversations between them, and he understood the glory of the Lord's holy name, although he did not take the holy name with someone knowledge that whose name he is taking, he practiced Abhiday and then attained the Prayojan. That's what I have heard. One. Secondly, they give the example of the fisherman who caught Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his net. And he did not take the name, he just came in contact, and without practicing having any Sambandh Gyan, without any Abhiday, he got Prema. So that example is also given. So, uh, I hope it's clear, na, Prabhuji, that he also practiced Abhidays. That's what it is mentioned, suggested.
No, actually, here main point is bhakti never depends upon the Shraddha to produce its result.
Okay.
Why Vishnu Dutas? That is that much only should take actually. After that, Vishnu Dutas after arrival, so Swami takes that. So he doesn't have any kind of contamination, and just so for the intensifying his devotional service, so he did that. So that's why, but we should understand that the initial, that means nama bhasa, that means abhasa bhakti. This nama bhasa also means abhasa bhakti is otherwise. So whatever the abhasa bhakti he did, that itself sufficiently, that means give the example also previously in the same book. So that's why, like in the case of the Jadabartha also, sorry, Bharata Maharaj, when he was in the body of the deer, so he was remembering the holy name, and but still he got the Brahmana Deha. That means Jadabartha's body. What we should understand, that means at the time of remembering at the time of the Lord's name, that in the deer body, Bharata Maharaj was remembering. So Lord's name, but still he went to the another body. What we should understand, this is that same point he raises there also. What we should understand here. So, that means shall we understand that even if you take holy name, but still they didn't go back to the Godhead, and still they suffered something in the middle world, like that we should take? No. That is only just that next part. That means Jadabartha's body and Jadabartha's stage is liberated stage only. Like in the case of the Ajamil also, after Yamadutas, whatever is stage is there, phase is there, that is considered as liberated phase only.
Okay, Prabhuji, very clear, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that much is enough for us. So what we want to establish, so whether Shraddha is needed or not for bhakti to give its result. So that much is the point. So Shraddha is not needed. So who is raising the hand? Rukmini Mohan Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna Guruji. Guruji, when we are talking about that bhakti doesn't depend on Shraddha to give its result, are we talking about prema or are we talking about purification?
Bhagavad Prapti.
Bhagavad Prapti, okay.
Yes. That means we consider that Ajamil's after Yamaduta's phase means he attained the Bhagavan, but so his love has to be intensified. So, and also systemized. That means maybe you should develop certain relationship, maybe Das, Sakya, whatever, or otherwise going to the Dwarika, some kind of relationship. So for that, so but otherwise, even in the case of the Jadabartha also, in Bharata Maharaj, Jadabartha is not a conditioned body. It's not a conditioned state. It is a liberated state. He is always remembering the Lord. So like that we should take. So that's why now there is no point of purification or nothing. So bhakti's result means Bhagavad Prapti.
Thank you, Guruji.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
There are a few examples what I've heard from the scriptures about two men fighting in the temple, killing each other, and the one who was killed also went back to Godhead because this incident happened in a Vishnu's temple, and a dog circumambulating the temple.
Yes, yes.
So these also, like, without any prior practice, because of
Yes, yes.
doing acts of devotion, they attained the Lord.
Yeah, those also
So
discussed, bro.
yes,
Already we discussed that in the previous 140, 150 and that's those.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
So now further we'll move forward. So ityado tata phaladatrutva saustava shravanacha. So phaladatrutva saustava shravanacha. So that means here before Shraddha, you see under what is the meaning of this sloka? So Ajamil took the Hari's name just not directly, that means indicating the Hari, but just to call his son, he chanted the Hari name, and by that Hari name also he is delivered. Kimuta Shraddhaya Gunan. That means what to speak if someone takes the holy name with faith. So that means before Shraddha also, so he achieved Agad Dhama. This is the meaning. Ajamilo Pyagad Dhama. Agad Dhama means he got the Bhagavad Prapti. You should consider there. Agad Dhama. Dhama means Bhagavad Prapti. That means he is in the liberated stage after that, after Vishnuduta's arrival. So that itself is known as Agad Dhama, but so he was given time to develop some certain relationships to intensify his love. So that's why, otherwise, how it is said, Agad Dhama. So after going to the, if that is also considered, then he got the Shraddha there, and then with the Shraddha only Sajamil went. That kind of point should come. So now it is not mentioned here. Ajamil went only just by the Namabhasa. That means, so that itself is attainment of Supreme Lord, Bhagavad Prapti. Then if he takes holy name Shraddha, then what will happen? So if anyone takes the holy name Shraddha, then what will happen? Phaladatrutva saustava shravanacha. That means here, hearing the Shraddha, so then if one does bhakti with Shraddha, then bhakti can give, so definitely it can give. So definitely it can give, that much only you can take. Even before that also it can give. That means if he doesn't, what is the speciality of the Ajamil? Ajamil doesn't have any kind of privilege. So, but if someone has aparadas, then he needs this Shraddha. Otherwise, he cannot practice bhakti, purely Ananya Bhakti. And without practicing Ananya Bhakti, one cannot quickly progress. By doing the Karma Mishra Bhakti, what will happen? So he will not go to the desired result. That is Golok Prapti will never. It's impossible. That is possible only by the. So leaving all rules and regulations, karma, firma, all, and one should do the raga. Otherwise, no. So that's why, what is the point here? Important point we should understand here. So Shraddha is not mandatory, is not necessary as such. It's not at all necessary for bhakti to give its result. So as a Shraddha, then what is the Shraddha? Then what? That means Shraddha is not the limb of the bhakti. You should understand this point also. Shraddha cannot be the limb of the bhakti, is the anga of the bhakti. No. Shraddha is bhakti. Shraddha is not bhakti. It is also you should understand. Then what is Shraddha? Sacha Shraddha Shastrabhideyavadharanasyeva Angam. It is the part or it is the limb of ascertainment of the subject matter of the scriptures. To ascertain or concluding. Shraddha is what? Shraddha is a limb of ascertaining. Ascertainment of is a limb of ascertainment of subject matter. You're understanding? So that means it is not directly devotional service. That is a point. If you want to find what is the subject matter of the scriptures, so and you have some process, in that process it comes out. It is a part of that process. So finding the certainty of subject matter of scriptures. So it is the limb of that process. Not the bhakti. It is not bhakti. Shraddha is not the limb of bhakti. Lord is limb of bhakti. As a limb of any process means what? Like example, I will tell one. If you want to perform yajna, so you have to first do the achaman, and you have to do the dravya shuddhi. That means you put the water on those, all these, and you'll be chanting some mantras to purify them. And you'll bring the bricks and you'll make the yajna kunda. All these are all a limb of performing yajna. So Shraddha is also a limb of ascertainment of subject matter. Abhidhyaya means subject matter of scriptures. Ascertainment means the process of finding the certain or the particular or the concluded subject matter of the scriptures. So it is the limb of that process, not the bhakti process. So tad swasrupatva. So what is the shape of the Shraddha? It is a belief. Shraddha is nothing but what? Believing the conclusions of scriptures. It's not, that belief is not bhakti. That belief is not called as bhakti. Tataha na anusthana angatve pravishati. So that's why Shraddha is not the part of the performing bhakti. Is not the part of the performance of bhakti. Okay, this also should understand. Adau Shraddha. Shraddha is not part of the performing of bhakti. Performance of the or process, bhakti process. Shraddha is not the limb of or part of bhakti process. Na anusthana angatve pravishati. Anusthana means performance of bhakti. Bhakti performance. Performing is performing of bhakti. So it is not part of that performance. Bhaktischa phalotpadayena vidisapeksha na syat. Just now we are seeing one more glory of bhakti. Now what we understood, bhakti never depends upon Shraddha to produce its result. That point you understood. Now we are going to give one more additional anyway. So one additional point. What is that additional point? So of course, Shraddha is a pre-qualification. But no, it's not the part of the limb of the bhakti process. And bhaktischa phalotpadena vidisapeksha pinnasya. And one more thing, bhakti never depends upon Shraddha to produce its result. And also bhakti is not dependent on the rules and regulations of performing that process. That means bhakti process. That means if you perform like this only, you'll get result. If you perform bhakti like this only, in this systematic manner only, then only you'll get bhakti. Then only you'll get the result. Is it like that? No. Bhakti never depends on the way of doing or performing that bhakti to give its result. Bhakti also never depends upon on the way of performing bhakti. Vidhi means the way. But in the case of karma gives result when it is done as prescribed in the scriptures. As prescribed in the scriptures, you should perform like that only. So first you should. So that means before yajna, and yajna and after yajna. So there are the certain activities are there. Before starting yajna, so you should do some activities. Like example, if you want to get this certain result, you should bring the mud to make the bricks of the Tegri Kunda by the horse only. If you bring that mud by the donkey, then you will not get the expected result. What? In the case of the karma, to get the result from that karma, that means karma means yajna. So yajna is also one of the karma. So to perform the yajna, you need the Yajna Kunda, Havan Kund. So for making a Havan Kund, you need bricks. For that making bricks, you need mud. And for bringing that mud, you need some animal we use as a carrier. And if you use the donkey instead of horse, then you will not get the expected result. But in the case of the bhakti, somehow or other, if you chant holy name, finish. It's not that you should not sit in the chair. And also you should take bath, that. This kind of rules and regulations are controlling the bhakti to give its result. No. Example is fire. Fire will never depend on the rules and regulations. Oh, he is good man, he's a bad man. He's a child, who is innocent child. And innocent child, and you put finger in the fire. So fire will think that, oh, this is a small boy, I should not burn. No. So fire is fire. Anyway, if come and contact anything, come in contact with it in any time, any situation, it will burn it out. It will give all the time its result. That is burning. Without, so it's not depending on the any rules and regulations. Similarly, Bhagavad Shravan Kirtanadinam Swarupastastadrisha Shaktitvat Tatah Tasyaha Shraddhadhyapeksha Kutasyat. Why? Why bhakti is not dependent on any shraddha or any rules and regulations to produce its result? Because bhakti means sakshat bhakti. So, like example, Shravanam Kirtanam. These are all sakshas bhakti. So, bhakti means sakshat bhakti only should take all the time. Ananya bhakti. That means sakshat bhakti. That means which is not mixed with anything. Pure bhakti. So, bhakti is taken. So, bhakti is there, and Shravanam Kirtanam is also bhakti. So, the Shravanam Kirtanam activities itself is bhakti. That's why Swarupa Siddha Bhakti you can also call Shravanam Kirtanam as Swarupa Siddha Bhakti, because by nature itself they are bhakti. The activity itself is bhakti. But you do karma and after the result, so that karma is becoming bhakti now when result is offered. So, but by Swarupa that activity is not bhakti, but it became bhakti when its result of that karma is offered. So now here in the case of Shravanam and Kirtanam, by its nature they are bhakti and they have the potency, intrinsic potency it is having. That activity is having intrinsic potency. That means Shravanam Kirtanam have intrinsic potency. Swarupastha tadrish shakti. Kidrish shakti. So without depending on the other, that means without depending on the shraddha and other rules and regulations, so giving the result. So such a Shakti it is having. Who is having? That is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam and Kirtanam are having the intrinsic. Intrinsic means Swarupastha. Means by in their nature, natural. Otherwise, Shravanam and Kirtanam are having the natural potencies. Are in Swarupastha means which are in their nature. So that's the activities, direct devotional activities. Those activities are having the power. What kind of power? Without depending on the Shraddha and other things, having ability in producing the result. That is Bhagavat Prapti. Ataha Shraddham Vina Kvachit Mudadau Siddhir Drishyate. So that's why if someone take the Hare Krishna holy name, even he is a fool, he doesn't know what is the glory of the bhakti, and he doesn't know bhakti is only the process to give the ultimate result. He doesn't know. So the rules and regulations. Oh, I should bathe, I should do this, I should know. He doesn't know anything. But he took the holy name. And he doesn't have any offenses. He is eligible to go back to God. Ataha Shraddham Vina Kvachit Mudadau Api Siddhir Drishyate. Understood? So should understand the Swarupa of the Bhakti, the glories of the Bhakti. Next, हेलातु अपराध रूपा अपि बुद्धिपूर्वक कृता चेत. Ramcharan Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just
Just
put in the
a
comment box also. So, like
Mm-hmm.
Ramanam Kirtanam Vishnu, and then Archanam process is there. And there we say that Shruti, Smriti, Pranadit, Pancharatram, Vidhivina. So that is a verse like if you don't follow those rules and regulations, then it's just an utpat. So how do we understand that?
Wow. Nice question. So, like Archanam, so Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Pancharatra Vidhim Vina, Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpata Eva Kalpate. So, Ananya Bhakti, Aikantiki Bhakti means Ananya Bhakti. Without following the proper procedure given by the Puranas, Shruti, Smriti, and so on. So that will be leading to the Utpata. Utpata means so great calamity or destruction in the life. Utpata eva kalpate. So what it means? So here we are hearing that Vidhi is needed, given by the Shruti, Smriti, Purana, and so on. So what it means? Yes, that is true. Who are? This is meant for whom? Duratma. Duratmas. Dauratmyam. Who are innocent. In their case, there is no. You are seeing who is innocent. That means Dauratmi means who is. Dauratmi means you can know what is the Dauratmi. Duratmata. Wicked. Cheaters. Who is having cheating mentality. So such a people will manipulate the Ananya Bhakti in different ways, and ultimately they will create the disturbance in the society. They'll create the Sahajya Panthi. Because those are all Duratmas, wicked people. So to guide those Duratmas, Dauratmita is there in everyone. Cheating nature, twisting, bending, this kind of nature. And for them to control their twisting, bending nature, so Vidhi is prescribed. And also they have laziness, craziness. So to control that, this Vidhi is given. Otherwise, Bhakti never depends upon that Vidhi. Understanding? If someone is so innocent, he took the holy name, Ajamil. What kind of Vidhi he followed? Innocent, why we say Ajamil is innocent? Because he didn't do any offense, and he was not having, and he didn't do also. So that's why he is not Duratma. Duratma means who knows the bhakti process, who has sufficient intelligence, and having the nature of bending that. And that means they have contamination in the heart to bend the. Bending means so using bhakti or twisting the bhakti process. Such a weak nature. And for those people, this vidhi is needed. It's not that the bhakti is dependent on that vidhi process. Okay, Prabhu. Ram
Okay,
Sharan.
thank you. Sure,
Yes.
thank you. Also,
Yeah.
Prabhu, one more question. That like in the previous page you like mentioned, like if somebody chant the holy name without offenses, then he will get the result. Does that apply for hearing also, if somebody hear the holy name?
Here, whatever. Yes. So next, what is that? हेला तु अपराध रूपा अपि अबुद्धि पूर्वक कृता चेत. Abuddhi. Hela means contempt, or otherwise sarcastically doing bhakti. So hela to aparadha rupa. Yes, calling someone's name is Narayana, but calling Narayana just to tease him, or otherwise maybe Govinda or whatever, for the sake of teasing. So he is calling the name Narayana. So that's why with teasing mentality, so taking the holy name is definitely is the offense only. Offensive, so offensively taking the holy name. Helatu aparadha rupa api abuddhi purvaka kruta chet. And this sarcastically speaking the holy name, if it is done without proper knowledge, that means without unknowing, without knowing so taking Lord's name sarcastically or to tease someone, if you take the holy name, this is not good, this is offense. So such an inattentive way taking the holy name is offense. So he doesn't have this kind of knowledge. Abuddhi purvaka kruta means without proper knowledge about the offenses. So, but he took the holy name sarcastically, or he took the holy name to tease someone, or sarcastically, whatever. So then in that case, Dauratmyata is not there. Dauratmyata is not there means, so insincerity, or otherwise you can say Dauratmyata means Duratmata, that means bad intention. So abuddhi purvaka kruta chet dauratmya abhavi, that means since he doesn't have any insincerity or otherwise, so intention, bad intention, then what will happen? Na bhaktya bhadyate. Then that kind of helana rupa bhakti is not stopped, actually. Is not stopped. That means that kind of helana rupa bhakti also will give result. Gnana lava durvidagdadau tu tad vaiparityena bhatyate. But if one knows, so taking holy name sarcastically is offense. But still if he takes, then in his heart, what is there? A bad intention, offensive intention is there. Offending nature is there. Then in that case, so that kind of So sarcastic way, taking holy name will not give the result. Then in that, the bhakti, the Shakti is, that means producing the lords. That means in that Helena, so that activity, Helena activity is also bhakti activity, but that bhakti is not producing the result, that is Bhagavad Prapti. It stopped. It is stopped to produce its result. Badhyate. You understand? So that's why that sarcastic or whatever, it's faithful. If you take holy name, taking holy name is holy name. It should produce its result. But this sarcastic nature towards the bhakti is there, and that bad intention is there because of that. So that holy name is not going to give the result. The power of that holy name is stopped.
Prabhu, I have a question, bro. Bro, if this is the thing, then someone can tell that. So then, why to be aware of offenses? We should be unaware of offenses, and then if we do a type of bhakti, then that will give result. So why should be everyday chant which are the offenses? If we are not aware of offenses, then we are not doing offenses at all.
Yes. So then this is a Duratmata, thinking like this. You are understanding? So intentionally not knowing the offenses, not to follow the, so correcting the offenses, then is the Duratmata. You're understanding?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No, one second. So
yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Okay. You understood this point?
Yeah, yes, bro.
This is the Duratmata, actually. You want to commit offenses and you want to escape from that. Is the bad nature, actually.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
That means not knowing the offenses should happen naturally. Then in that case. But I will not know. If I know, then I should follow. Then I will not know the offenses. He is already his offending. And out he is. In his case, all offenses are applicable. If one sincerely practicing bhakti and sincerely trying to do bhakti and he somehow or other he didn't get chance to know, then he is in his case also offense is happening, but result is not coming. That means the result of that offense is not coming. Not coming means whatever bhakti he is doing, that will be suppressed, or otherwise, yeah, that. So in that case, so it is dealt by the Lord actually.
But bro, so like a newcomer comes, bro, he doesn't know anything about offenses or what is nama aparad, like that. And if we do not preach about offenses, him, like if we do not tell about, okay, you don't do offenses, then he will never know about offenses, and he will never commit offenses also, no? Because he doesn't.
No. Committing offenses, who said? Committing offenses is there.
But bro, if he's doing unknowingly, like Helena Rupa Bhakti, so then, yeah, if he is sarcastically like, he's like jokingly he's telling the name, so then also that he will not commit any offense. Like he will commit offense, but
it is offense, Baba.
Yeah, it will not give result.
It is offensive japa only. Definitely we say it is offensive only. But since in his heart Dauratmeta is not there, because he is innocent, and that's why that offense is forgiven. But who said the offense is not happening? Offense is offense. Yeah, knowingly done or unknowingly done, offense is offense. But the result is not severe. Your understanding.
Yes, severe means what, bro? Severe, like
Severe means yes. So you know this is offense and still you do, then this is severity is there. That
Okay.
means someone does the, like even in karma also, in the law, in the king, if someone does so intentionally, that means I will do the sin and I will get punishment and still I will continue doing the sin. Then next time if he does, then he has to give the double punishment. That is a rule. Because he knows if I do this sin, I will get punishment. But still he wants to do, I will do the sin and I will rectify that sin by the atonement or by the punishment. Then that kind of person should be, because his bad intention is increasing.
yes, bro. Yes. Yeah.
Then in that case, in that next time if he does that offense, he should not get same, but he should get more punishment. That is the rule of the Dharma Shastra. And the same rule applicable for the
Nama means Namaparad.
bhakti also.
Okay. So means seventh type of Namaparad is doing, bro. Seventh, like knowingly he.
Not only seventh, any offense if you do, and then that is committing the offense on the strength of bhakti.
Yes, bro.
Whatever. So that means what is the point you should understand? It's not seventh or eighth. What you should understand? The nature, the heart's nature, you should understand. The heart, how he is responding to the bhakti. It is now becoming the cunning heart. So in the bhakti process, heart should become smooth and soft. Not cunning, not tactic. You're understanding? Then in that kind of heart, bhakti, he will never practice proper japa.
Yes, bro.
That is the meaning of Dora Pita. It's a cunning nature.
Yes, bro.
So, oh, I should not know. I will never know. I don't hear if whenever someone is saying the apradhas, some class is happening on apradhas, I will close my ears. So if I hear, then I will be knower of the apradhas and I will commit offenses and punishment will be more. So I should not hear. I will not hear. Then he's a cunning fellow actually. We should do bhakti sincerely, not the cunningly. Okay.
Yes,
bro.
bro. Understood. Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Guruji, we heard this like bhakti, Shraddha is bhakti is not dependent on Shraddha. There's bhakti, Shraddha is the anga of bhakti. So also we
Shraddha is what? Shraddha is anga of bhakti.
anga of the bhakti, one of the anga, just like we can limb, just like you gave example of performing yajna, just like those other things, na. But it's not a.
Prabhu, 1 second. Shraddha is anga of the bhakti. Who said?
You mentioned, give example of the performing.
Prabhu, I didn't say, Prabhu. I didn't say. I said that Shraddha is not the anga of the bhakti. I said.
Yes.
But one of the limb said, but not a bhakti. Just like give example. No, okay. This
Prabhu, you didn't understand.
no. Okay, I'm asking different thing.
Prabhu. But first of all, you should clarify your understanding. Your understanding is wrong. That you should first of all know that. Your bhakti, Shraddha is not the anga of the bhakti. Clearly, I am mentioning 100 times. And Shraddha is the anga of the ascertainment of
Anga of the ascertainment of scriptures.
Ascertainment of the subject matter of the scriptures. What it means? Ascertainment means is the process to know the conclusion of the scriptures or anything.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
It is not bhakti. It is just the understanding, the process and finding that means conclusions of the scriptures. So it is the anga of that process only, not the bhakti. Okay, you ask now.
So Adav Shraddha Sadhu Sang Bhajan Kriya, the stages are there. We say as Shraddha increases, that just like I give an example of sugar. So more sweet sugar is added, the name is different. Just like just like milk, we will just like becomes rabdi, other things like that, na peda, other things. Similar, just like bhajan kriya, nishtha, ruchi, asakti. So this is another. This is only shraddha only. So we give example. So I want to ask just for clarification. Just like we say, shraddha is more increasing. That it becomes a different name we give. Just like Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Bhajan Kriya. So because Shraddha is there, they will do Sadhu Sangha. But then because
Acha,
Shraddha is there, Bhajan Kriya will do. Then
if I
Shraddha is increasing more and more. Is it clear?
Is it not clear? It is not clear for me. One second, I want to understand your point. What you want to say, Shraddha is the beginning, and next stages, whatever are there, example, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, all these are all the different names of the Shraddha only, but increased.
This
That you want to say.
Shraddha is the integral part. Any activity, any level, we can say this is not a Shraddha is always there, and this is increasing more and more. We had it, so I want to clarify. Just like example is given,
Okay.
sweetness of sugar increase in is different name is become molasses, sugar. So how to understand this thing? Because we are discussing here, so just like Shraddha is not a part of bhakti or not anga of bhakti, but Shraddha is always integral part of.
Understood, bro. Bro, I understood. So this molasses, sugar, this is not used for the Shraddha. This is used by the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to say that the in the prema there are the different stages are there. Sneha, so after that bhava, so and so other like many are there. Mahabhava. So to just say those, the condense, that means the sugar juice, and after that condense it, that means sugar cane juice is there, and if you condense it, then it will become sugar, and if you even more condense, it's molasses, and so on, so on, so on. So it will be various levels of the condensed. So sugar cane juice is having the variegated taste, increased taste because of the density. So that is another example. So that leave there, and Shraddha is condensed, and that is I don't know. So where it is you got. And molasses example was given there with that, and these all stages are categorized based upon clearly Vishwanath writes. So based upon the degree of purification of offenses, understanding. So, but what is the role of this Shraddha? Shraddha is so definitely you can increase more and more Shraddha. I don't say it is Shraddha is increasing, but Shraddha is not part of the bhakti. Shraddha will make you to not to commit more offenses, not to go back down. So Shraddha means what? It is nothing but the sincerity, belief in practicing the process, and you will not commit offenses. Strictly you will do. If you have full Shraddha, then you will do strictly. So, in that way, Shraddha is not becoming the part of the bhakti. It is not direct devotional item. It is the feature. It is a feature of the performer. That's all. Understanding? It's a feature of the performer.
Yeah.
It's going to come.
Just this is feature of performer as well as just like as you say also mention this is purification of heart, different degree. Just like heart become purified, this different stages are known as just like nishtha, ruchi, asakti, because heart is purified.
Yeah, that's based upon anadhas it is classified, not based upon Shraddha.
So vice versa, we also can say simultaneously ki Shraddha is also increasing. We can say na, because nishtha means more steady. That is more Shraddha is there. Nishtha is not reached nishtha. That means something lacking. That's why he's not practicing. And we can say different form. Is it okay?
So Nishtha means what? Steadily doing the sastirata. Bhajana kriya is to anishtita or nishtita. So anishtita means unsteady, and nishtita means steady. So why he has Shraddha, but you have to say another things also. Why he is not able to do steadily bhakti? Because of anarthas. Anarthas are taking their own role and they are bringing the unsteadiness. So he is having this Shraddha, but what his anarthas are pulling down. So he might be, we cannot say that Shraddha is directly proportional or anything. We are not going to bring that item. Shraddha anyway, it is always needed. Otherwise, bhajan kriya he will never progress. Otherwise, he will never progress. Shraddha is not there. But why these stages are there? Based upon the purification of the anarthas. It doesn't mean that he has less Shraddha. So mainly the stages are classified based upon the anarthas, not based upon the degrees of the Shraddha. We can see as a result, he can do more steadily bhajan. Doing steadily bhajan doesn't, or not doing steadily bhajan, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have Shraddha, but he's affected by the anarthas. That's why he's not able to do. But if he has Shraddha continuously, that's why he's continuing and progressing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, but I think that we cannot say that person on the level of Shraddha has the same Shraddha as a person who is on the level of Nishcha. Their Shraddhas are different.
So, Shraddha at the beginning and Shraddha at the so that's a Nishtha, or otherwise if you go to the Prema.
You said that this levels mostly describes a quantity of anarthas.
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you, but we cannot say that Shraddha phase on the level of Shraddha or Sadhusanga is the same as a phase on the level of Nishka or Ruchi. This phase.
Yes, definitely Shraddha will, you see, at the when Bhagavad Prapti happens, that means when Lord is directly perceived, that means he is experiencing the Lord. That means Drushta eva atmanishare vidyate hriday grandhis chidyante sarva samshayaha. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. That means at the stage of the Prema, that means in the Prema stage, what will be happening in the Prema? Lord is directly becoming object for his experience, devotee's experience. So, Drushta eva atmanishare, that means when devotee sees the Lord, that means experiences the Lord. At that time also some doubts are out. What is the doubt? Whether I can see the Lord? I am so unqualified. He crossed already Bhava, but still he might be having, I am unqualified, how I can get the darshan of the Lord. So this kind of doubt is there, and that doubt is destroyed when he is directly seeing the Lord. So that means what? So he might be having some kinds of the samshaya. That means what kind of samshaya? I may not, but Lord is definitely, bhakti gives the ultimate result. That kind of Shraddha is having, but I am unqualified. So I may not get the darshan of the Lord. So that kind of doubt is finished once getting the darshan of the Lord. So that means, so samshaya means Shraddha is increasing, you can say. Shraddha is nothing but what? Destruction of the samshayas. So in that way, Shraddha is increasing, you can say. But the point you should understand, their Acharya is not categorizing these things based upon a degree of the Shraddha, but based upon the anarthas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu, when he's discussing, especially the Kanishta, Uttama, and Madhyama.
Yeah, there is Komala Shraddha and
Shraddha Anusari, he says, he classifications. Shraddha Anusari. So how do we understand that then? because there, even for a adhikari
Yes.
who is a
Hmm.
Uttam Adhikari, he has proud Shraddha.
Yes.
And other one is Shraddhavan, and his other one is Komal Shraddha. So Shraddha Anusari, there it is mentioned. How do we understand?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. This Shraddha related to the realizations. So, for example, I said now just now. So, whether I can go to the bhava stage, that kind of doubt also might be having. In every stage, you will be having some kind of lack of faith of next level. But what Shraddha is having shape? Why you people are not understanding? Shraddha shape. What is the shape of Shraddha? I said. So, bhakti process is only the process which can give the ultimate result. This kind of shape of Shraddha I defined. Why this Shraddha will change? This is the entry door, I said. But in the next levels, another kind of Shraddha will change. That means whether I can get the bhava, whether I can get the nishta or the so and so, that kind of doubts you might be having, and then so his Shraddha will increase in that way. If you say Shraddha, what is the shape of the Shraddha? Tell me.
Prabhu, may I ask one more question? As I understand from your explanation, this classification made on the basis of the level of anattas. Does it mean
Yes.
the process of developing bhakti is just the process of getting rid of anartha?
Yes. Bhakti is nothing but what? It's as much as Bhakti Maharani is merciful on you means that much anathas are out. So Bhakti Maharani's blessings or the mercy is directly proportional to the eradication of anarthas. Otherwise, if anarthas are not there, Shraddha is there or not. One second. So anarthas are there or not there, and Shraddha is there or not, you will be getting the result.
But Prabhu, does it mean that, for example, Mayavadis who are free from anarthas, they can be very pure, they have bhakti shraddha? It doesn't mean so.
Mayavadis, how can you say they are having this? They are pure. Just Mayavadi, when you say he is understanding Lord's form is
No,
material.
I mean not Mayavadi impersonalists who are not Mayavadis, like Brahmavadis. They can be very pure. They can be very pure from anarthas.
Brahmavadis are not pure. The Brahmavadis are not. That means what way they are pure? Their heart is very hard. What is the meaning of Brahmavadi? Brahmavadi means he is trying to see everything as one. That means he is trying to see the objects without any attributes. So that means he is making his heart hard, not reacting for any object. And then how can you say that means he is pure? What is the meaning of pure? Define the purity.
Means that they without like anger.
Okay, bro, we'll take
envy.
your questions later in the class. Okay.
Answer.
It's yeah. So just I have to I'm reaching the 8:15 now. It's crossing the time. We should follow the time. So if you have any questions, you write to me. Yeah. Finally, just I'm trying to conclude today's session. So the point is the insincerity or otherwise the cunningness. If on the heart is there, then in that case the offense is taken as very serious. Without insincerity, somehow because of ignorance, offense is offense only, but that offense is not taken seriously by the Bhakti Maharani. So that's the point. And we are going to see the next class. Example is also given. That's a Vena's example, and further we'll discuss. So thank you very much for all of your questions. Good, enthusiastic you are all. Hearing focused and sincerely. Yes. And also we can entertain limited questions only, not because we have to go to the reach the timeline also. If someone have more doubts, so please write to me personally. So thank you very much for kind and patient hearing. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand.
Gopal Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.